Hello, my name is Ketevan Nozadze. I'm with Global Evaluation Initiative, GEI. The GEI and Centers for Learning on Evaluation and Results, the CLEAR centers, have partnered with the Climate Investment Fund's Evaluation and Learning Initiative to provide introductory video sessions on monitoring and evaluation in climate action. With these videos, we aim to cover some basic principles of monitoring and evaluation and encourage you to use evidence to inform climate finance decision-making. This is first in a series of 4 videos in which we will introduce monitoring and evaluation tools in the context of climate action. In the first video, I will discuss broadly why evaluation is important in climate action. In the next sessions, in the video 2, we will cover the fundamentals of monitoring and evaluation and talk about evaluative thinking and evaluation questions in the climate change. In video 3, we will present how different M&E tools can be used to generate evidence at all stages of climate interventions. And we will conclude with video 4, which will provide a step-by-step guidance on how to develop a theory of change to support your evaluation. In all videos, we will refer to external materials that you can further access and read about this topic. So why is evaluation practice important for climate interventions? In this session, we will talk about climate urgency and introduce system thinking and the concept of transformational change as we explain why evaluation is important for evidence-informed climate interventions. Climate action is urgent and requires rapid, fundamental, and transformative change into how societies and economies function. More than ever before, we need new knowledge, new evidence to learn if and how climate finance works in bringing fundamental shifts towards climate-neutral, inclusive, resilient, and sustainable development pathways. Evaluation plays a critical role in bringing knowledge and evidence to what works and how we are transitioning towards more climate-neutral system. Evaluation findings and evidence, when used in decision-making, can improve policy and program impact for people and the planet. Conducting evaluations in the era of climate action can be complex as it requires system thinking. System thinking or systems analysis approach recognizes that systems we aim to transform are dynamic and interconnected. When we are evaluating mitigation or adaptation interventions, it is important to understand that these programs are implemented in a very complex socio-ecological systems where human, economic, and natural factors are interlinked and impacts are across systems and boundaries. System thinking will encourage you to use interdisciplinary lens to understand wider factors, dynamics, and interrelations. It helps to expand the theory of change about the program and helps you to understand what influences the impacts. If you look at evaluating intervention in the forestry sector, for example, system thinking is helpful to expand your analysis of how such interventions are implemented across natural, human, and economic systems, where human relations with the nature, the markets, technology, human values all influence the impacts of such intervention. Thus, climate evaluations that adopt systems lenses are important to bring knowledge about the complexity of the climate interventions and provide recommendations across systems for urgent and significant change. The international community agrees that climate finance needs to contribute to transformational change, that is, a fundamental change in systems relevant to climate action, with capacity to shift and accelerate progress towards climate-neutral, resilient, and sustainable development. Transformational change also needs to be just and inclusive. But are interventions really transformative? Evaluations are important to answer these questions. According to Climate Investment Fund, transformational change requires 5 dimensions: relevance, systems change, speed, scale, and adaptive sustainability. These dimensions are attributes of systems change needed for transformations addressing climate change. Some questions can help you to unpack these dimensions. For example, what fundamental changes relevant to climate action need to be brought about with a specific context? This is the relevance question. When looking at the systems change, what are the systems where change is needed and what change is required between and within these systems? When questioning about the speed of the program, what will it take to achieve transformational change goal in a time frame that is aligned with the urgency and complexity of the climate crisis? When looking at the scale, what contextually large changes need to be scaled within and beyond the project and interventions? And finally, when looking at the adaptive sustainability, one could ask what relevant changes are sustained and advanced beyond this intervention. Evaluations are important to build knowledge and evidence as to how transformational change unfolds per these dimensions in specific country contexts, and what transition impacts are across human and natural systems. Climate Investment Fund developed extensive materials to learn more about the transformational change and evaluations through questions, signals, and about dimensions that you can find at the end of this video. To conclude, as the world suffers with the effects of climate change, it is important to assess, evaluate, and learn more about the actions to achieve transformational change. Evaluations with focus on systems thinking and transformational change will help us to learn from the complexities of climate change era, identify gaps, and help refine strategies for sustainable future. It took us a long journey to bring climate action in the heart of development agenda. Evaluations contribute to building accountability, transparency, and culture of evidence-based decision-making for people and the planet. CIF observers have a role to play in influencing and advocating for evidence-based decision-making in climate finance. Designing evaluations with a focus on system thinking, as well as your ability to draw on existing evidence in the field, will be important to advance the use of evidence and evaluative research to inform better decision-making. As you start your journey to design evaluative research in the context of climate action, I encourage you to reflect on systems approach and transformational change dimensions in the early stages of your evaluation design. Thank you for your attention. You can find more about monitoring and evaluation in climate action in our next videos.